Thanks so much to Squarespace for sponsoring this video and supporting my channel. Squarespace is an easy-to-use, all-in-one platform to build your website and run your business. Just pick a designer-made template from their extensive library. It'll automatically be optimized for mobile use right out of the gate with no design or coding needed. From there, use their simple drag-and-drop style editor to customize to your heart's content by adding blocks, photos, and more. Edit pages, stock your online store, schedule marketing emails, and view your analytics from one simple dashboard. If you ever need help, Squarespace is there for you with helpful video tutorials and their award-winning 24/7 customer support. So if you'd like to update what you're doing online or start something completely new, go to squarespace.com/allicherry for your free trial, and when you're ready to launch, 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. When you think of living an eco-friendly lifestyle, what comes to mind? DIY body products, secondhand clothing, recycling maybe? What if I told you a big piece of the sustainability puzzle is hiding in your kitchen and has less to do about what you buy, but how you keep it? Food. I'm talking about your food. According to Feeding America, 100 billion pounds of food is wasted in the US each year, 40% of all food produced. There's food waste associated with every stage of food production, but today let's focus on what we can do to reduce it when we get it into our homes. Here are my 3 steps. Plan. Stick with me here. I know not everyone likes to plan, but hear me out. A little bit of forethought will help save you money and help you reduce your food waste. So here's what the process looks like for me. First, I look through my fridge, pantry, and garden tower to see what I have and see what needs to be eaten or cooked or frozen as soon as possible. Are there leftover beans that can be blended into hummus? Wilted herbs or greens that can become pesto or pasta sauce? Cooked veggies for soup? Stale bread that can be made into breadcrumbs? Using up leftovers is always my #1 priority to combat food waste. After I assess what I already have, I build a shopping list while thinking of our meals for the week. This tool isn't necessary and is not sponsored, but I've been using Plan to Eat for, at least the past 5 years to organize my recipes, shopping lists, meal plans, and it's been a game changer for me. It's basically an app that you can import recipes into, so you can import your own recipes or import from websites. You drag your recipes onto a calendar and it'll auto-generate shopping lists for you. I'm not super type A about having every meal imported into my calendar all the time, but I will say it really helps with the Sunday night overwhelm when I can drag a few recipes in, go through my shopping list, and see that I really only need a few things to make meals for that week. Again, that's just the tool that I use. Maybe there are a few favorite recipes that you have bookmarked on your computer, in a Pinterest folder, or even written out in a notebook. The idea here is to have a few ideas on hand to make cooking at home easier for you so that you use what you have instead of letting it go bad and hitting up Postmates instead. If I'm buying ingredients that I can't get individually, say a big box of spinach or lettuce for example, I'll plan out recipes for that whole week that I can use that ingredient in. Pretty obvious, right? So I'll also take a look at our calendar to see if Nick's may be traveling for work that week and plan my shopping trips accordingly. So in that case, I wouldn't buy a huge container of lettuce that I can't finish on my own and can't cook or freeze, to save for later if Nick's not going to be home. So in the end, much of planning comes down to common sense, but all that common sense really adds up to not wasting food or money. So shop your fridge and pantry first, plan out a few meals for the week, and shop only what you need. Store correctly. It's no secret that the way you store produce has a significant impact on how long it'll stay fresh. For example, some fruit, like banana or apples, produce ethane as they ripen, so it's important to keep them away from ethane-sensitive vegetables like leafy greens or cruciferous veggies. Carrots and celery will stay fresh and crisp if stored in containers filled with water for weeks. A bonus here is having them cleaned and prepped in the fridge because they're much easier to eat that way. Potato, onion, and garlic prefer cool, dry conditions like in a basket in a dark cabinet out of any bag they were purchased in for optimum airflow. Onion and garlic can be together, preferably away from the potato. Ginger is something that I found lost in the back of my fridge one too many times, so now when I buy ginger, I clean and chop it right away and store it in a jar in the freezer. I love that I always have it on hand when I need it now, and it never goes to waste. Leafy greens generally stay freshest in a sealed container, but I've recently been keeping my washed greens in my salad spinner, and they seem to stay perfectly crisp and dry this way. I just eat them in a couple days. This technique also works well for herbs, although many people like to keep their herbs in a jar of water in the fridge. Finally, utilizing the freezer to prevent food waste is something I do weekly and something that I don't think is talked about enough. Expect another video soon on this topic, but know that most fruit and veg can be quickly blanched and frozen and kept for months in the freezer. Prep with care. Now that we're storing our food correctly, let's talk about prep. I know not everyone's down with meal prepping, so keep an open mind with me here. I found that when I'm able to set aside a little bit of time to clean and process most of my produce as soon as I get home from the store, I'm much more likely to cook during the week because I know when I open my fridge, I can easily see everything that I have. Cooking is no longer a huge, annoying task because past me has set up future me for success. Lots of veg like broccoli, kale, or carrot do well in a sealed container, so doing a little bit of prep to get them washed and chopped and put away in sealed containers will help them last a lot longer too. Plus, it's ready for you when you need a snack or a quick meal. When you're cooking, if your budget allows, double the recipe and freeze half of it for another time. If you freeze in glass, make sure you leave room for any liquid to expand. I prefer to freeze in wide mouth jars or glass Pyrex style containers. Also, don't forget to label what you put in the fridge with the date that you made it or the date that it needs to be consumed by, because believe me, you'll forget what it is. Freezing meals cuts down my kitchen time in half and gives me meal variety without the waste. And I'm always so grateful when I remember I have meals that I love stashed away in the freezer. Bonus when it's something in a container like this that I can throw in the oven and reheat easily. I usually have a few things in the freezer like diced onion, carrot, and celery ready to be used in soups or other dishes, cooked from scratch sprouted beans, 1 teaspoon cubes of things like pumpkin puree, coconut cream, tomato paste, or pesto, frozen in cubes and then transferred into reusable bags. The 1 tablespoon cubes of ingredients are especially helpful when I have a recipe that just calls for a few tablespoons of something, or like 3/4 of a can of something. This way, nothing goes to waste. So what's your biggest challenge when it comes to food waste? Now that I have a very tiny garden, I've been interested in learning new ways to preserve food like canning, so we'll see if maybe that's what's next for me. Until then, these simple steps of mindfulness in terms of planning, storing, and prepping have helped me reduce what I end up composting immensely. I hope they help you too. Thank you so much for watching and for subscribing to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.